Hey, so recently in one of my Q&A live streams, I got asked this question: is tattoos a sin? And there's a lot of people who want to say yes, a lot of people want to say no. There's people who are very legalistic and say there's scriptures that say this, and then there's people who like to harbor in on our Christian freedom. But let me show you a few verses that talk about tattoos. So the first one is the passage that everybody likes to quote. It's in Leviticus. It's Leviticus 19:28. It actually talks about tattoos. So let's read it together. It says here, "You shall not make any cuts on your body for the dead or tattoo yourselves. I am the Lord." Now, the book of Leviticus is Jewish laws written to ancient Israelites. It's not written for Christians to adhere by these laws and these rules. So if you wanted to adhere by that, well, then the passage above it in verse 27, you can see it yourself. It says this: "You shall not round off the hair on your temples or mar the edges of your beard." So we can't pick and choose what we want to follow in the book of Leviticus, but all that to say, it's actually not meant for Christians to adhere by. These are ancient Israelite laws given to them by God. But I will say, though, that just because it is lawful, like as a Christian to get, that doesn't mean it's always beneficial. There's this rule in the Christian world. It's called, is it wise or is it a sin? So just because you have freedom for it, that doesn't mean it's wise. So let's look at this other passage real quick. It's 1 Corinthians 6:12. It says this: "All things are lawful for me, but not all things are helpful. All things are lawful for me, but I will not be dominated by anything." So yes, it's true that getting a tattoo is lawful. Sure, you can get one, but is it beneficial? And here's the other thing. Paul, writing in the book of Romans to Christians who were disputing about, can you eat food that was sacrificed to other gods and so on and so forth. Basically, Paul says that use your Christian liberty to do as you please. If you feel convicted to not eat the meat, don't eat the meat, but don't hold your brother to that same standard that you have, and vice versa. But he says here in Romans 14:23, "But whoever has doubts is condemned if he eats, because the eating is not from faith. For whatever does not proceed from faith is sin." So all that to say this, that if you internally believe and are convicted that it is a sin, and you're asking the question of everyone around you, maybe you truly believe it's not beneficial. So I would say you shouldn't get one. Now me, I have tattoos. All my tattoos are for God. They all have a biblical meaning. And so I believe that they are beneficial. But I wasn't raised that tattoos were wrong or sin or anything, and I don't really see any problem with it. So this passage doesn't apply to me. I don't feel condemned to get tattoos, but if you do, I would suggest maybe not getting tattoos. But if you're watching this and you want to get a tattoo and you feel like it's fine, I will suggest, though, make sure your tattoo doesn't go against God. I have the conviction that if I'm going to have a tattoo, it's got to be for God, not neutral or against God, but for Him. So are tattoos a sin? No, but should everybody get tattoos? Not necessarily. You got to ask yourself, is it wise or is it not wise? And what are you going to get? Is it against God or for God? So make sure you hit that follow button if you want to get more Christian content.